The U.S. Surgeon General calls it the defining public health crisis of our time. Mental health.
Half of high schoolers have reported feeling persistently sad or hopeless in the past year.
A devastating decline in the mental health of kids across the country. Suicide, self-harm, anxiety, and depression.
Suicide,
depression and anxiety.
With anxiety or depression,
Suicide,
self-harm.
sad or hopeless.
Testing.
For me, mental health has been very difficult, especially for my depression and anxiety. I have a depression spiral where I feel like that no one cares, no one really needs me alive.
It's been pretty up and down, I would say, especially with playing a sport. It kind of interferes a lot, and like home life in general, it's kind of been just an overwhelming feeling trying to deal with mental health and also playing sports and trying to keep my life up together with friends and stuff too.
Middle school was a really hard time in my life in terms of mental health, especially recently with the end of hockey. That was like how I would let out a lot of like the negative emotions I was feeling. So with the end of that, I'm kind of like I don't know, I don't want to say like lost, but handling my mental health has became harder, different, because I don't have that outlet anymore.
I think we should make it more appropriated, and I think that it should be normalized that mental health is kind of something that a lot of people are going to struggle with.
Even though people are trying to break the stigma and like make it something that's easier to talk about, I think that there's still a lot of judgment around it. Even if people say, oh, I'm not going to judge, talking about your mental health to someone, like regardless of how close you are to them, is going to ultimately change their perception of you at least a little bit.
I think it's harder for people to seek help just because all of the people around them have not normalized that mental health is such a big problem. And I think it makes people uncomfortable having to have those conversations.
Like a lot of people rely on their friends and like family to help, but they aren't professionally trained. And like I've been in the shoes of someone who has tried to help people through their mental health. And from my personal experience, there's a lot of like help that people need that their friends and family can't give them. There's only so much help you can get from people that aren't professionally trained, and a lot of people need that professional help. I think not processing your emotions in a healthy way, acknowledging them, just like shoving them down and trying to like hide them or ignore them, definitely contributes to bad mental health.
I would say teenagers probably struggle with mental health more and show it. I think that adults do struggle with mental health a lot. They just are better at handling it than we are.
I would say people in their adolescence probably have the highest rate of like mental health issues.
If there is a person in your life that is usually very happy and joyful and happy to be the places that they are, if you notice any kind of shift in their mood, like they just get down or they have their hood up or they're just not the person that they usually are, I would say that is definitely kind of a sign that something is wrong or something's off.
Threats of hurting themselves, or if they have hurt themselves, then they need to like help them out somehow.
Just giving them as much support as you can. The thing that helped me personally was just knowing that I had a good, solid group of people behind me who I knew were going to stick with me regardless of what ended up happening, and who I knew were my friends no matter what.
Try to not assume that people are overreacting or trying to do it for attention, but to sit down, talk about it.
You could never really get what someone is going through unless you've experienced it yourself.